I just wanted to say you are fantastic in Rana Naidu. Fantastic. Like, genuinely, the strength, the poise, the sternness, and the energy is just amazing.
When we started planning our wedding, a lot of people told us that we'd be fighting a lot, but I swear on my marriage, in that entire period that we were planning our wedding, we had one fight which lasted for 20 minutes and we were done. Every time I looked at him and especially when I saw him as a groom, I think that moment was something else. I think I married him in that moment. During our Varmala is when I feel like we got married.
The fact that you're always right, that annoys me a lot.
The fact that you're always right.
Yeah, it really irritates him. It really does. And I don't know how I'm always right, but I'm just always right. Even through the show, like when I'm doing a scene, sometimes all you want to do is just break down and be like, listen, why do I have to keep fighting for what is right for me and what is meant for me? And I deserve it. Why am I not getting it?
Do you feel as an outsider sometimes you're not even given or allowed to be in certain situations, certain rooms, certain places?
Yeah, I mean, not everyone has a key to every room, right? And that's okay. It used to bother me, I won't lie. I was reading a book one day and I read this quote. It's a very short and sweet quote, but it said, comparison destroys personality. And it really stayed with me. Because I realized I was so unhappy because I constantly was either being compared or I was comparing myself to someone. Na? That's how it works.
If you go online, right now, there's an amazing conversation that has started. Deserving actors should be given opportunities that they are worth. I feel I'm sitting with somebody who's more than just a pretty face. And her performance in Rana Naidu proves that. And she hits home with her amazingly seductive and power-hungry performance as Alia Oberoi. Welcoming Kriti Kharbanda in conversation with me for this episode of Nayansense. Finally, मेरे चैनल का पहला इंटरव्यू आपके साथ एक ऐसी दोस्त जिनको मैंने बहुत पहले ही बोल रखा था कि देखिए मैं अपना चालू कर रहा हूँ. शुक्रिया for being such an amazing friend. Firstly, for being such an amazing person. Like I said, I love you as an actor, but I love you even more as a human being. I will start off with what I gave the introduction of. You and I have had multiple conversations, right? We know what you're worth, you know what you're worth. But sometimes the industry doesn't understand the deserving people's worth. Today there's a conversation, and you know when you're doing a performance like this and it's getting talked about, there's a bigger conversation for you. Yeah. Does that make you happy? Have you read these conversations?
I did. I was so nervous the day before release. Nayan, I can't even begin to tell you. Maybe because I've never done something like this before. I've always wanted to. But you know, you can only do what you're offered. You choose from that basket of offers that you have and then you're like, okay, kuch karte hain. And I was so nervous before release because it could have gone either way.
Absolutely.
And I hadn't seen the show before release, so I didn't know what to expect. But one review came in, and then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then my phone started ringing in. I started getting calls from people within the industry, from outside the industry, friends, family. And you know, with OTT, the thing is, it doesn't all happen on one day. Everyone's watching it at a different time,
days,
right?
Yeah.
So मैं देख रही हूँ, and I don't think I felt this sense of, oh my God, I feel so good about myself in so long. And I felt so happy, proud of the decision that I made. It was a very risky move. It's still a very risky move. Yes. I don't know how it's going to turn out and all of that. But damn, I feel so happy. I can't hide it.
The last time we met was at the Jagran Film Festival, right?
Yes.
And where you had spoken to me and told me that, you know, there's something amazing that I've done which is coming on, which was this.
Yeah.
And that time it was not announced. I want to ask you, you're a value addition to the whole cast.
Yeah.
The first season did extremely well, which is why the second season has come. But being a woman in a man's world and holding on to your grounds, you know, you're not a weak character.
Yeah.
There is a lot of power play among the men, especially in such a show which is completely based on testosterone and machismo. But there is this person, there's this female energy that you bring in and so much power. Did that attract you? Like not playing a weak character in just about something where men are doing all the action and you're like sitting, but you're actually equal field.
Yeah, it felt absolutely amazing, like even when I was reading it. But to be very honest, I think what attracted me the most is when I read a script, I tend to shut my eyes and try to visualize what I'm doing, and everyone else had already been cast, including obviously Rana, and most of my scenes are with Rana and Rajat
Yeah,
sir, right?
yeah.
And with Tanuj,
Tanuj,
and
yeah.
all three of them are like over 6 feet tall, and I love this idea of a 5 foot something, this chutanki, really like making them run around, and just a 5 foot something taking on a 6 foot something. For me that was so exciting. I felt a sense of power when I read,
Yeah.
for the character,
Alia.
and I read, about Alia Oberoi, and I'm like, oh my god, she brings so much. I think I understand the struggle, and I think most women do. That struggle when you have to be a woman in a man's world. I don't want to change who I am. I don't want to be another person. I don't want to be a man. I'm not trying to be a man. I don't want that for myself. But when you're given that power, and that power is intellectual more than physical, it's so attractive.
That is
it's
true.
such an attractive quality. And
is true.
a lot of people have messaged me saying that we're wary of you now. You actually said that to me when I entered. But there are a lot of women who reached out to me and said that, damn, we understand the struggle. Because, a lot of times, even through the show, like when I'm doing a scene, sometimes all you want to do is just break down and be like, listen, why do I have to keep fighting for what is
That's true.
right for me and what is meant for me? And I deserve it. Why am I not
Absolutely.
getting it?
Absolutely.
And I think that struggle is something that everyone related to. But I think what they related to more was she didn't give up. She doesn't give up.
When you say that your character actually never gives up, it's also a lot of you in personal life, right? I want to understand, when did you ever feel that you are good enough and people kind of neglected that? And did anybody ever say anything or do anything which made you question yourself when you were not getting the right opportunities? Because we have had those discussions as well, that for a really long time you were not getting so many things to choose from.
Yeah, I did feel that way. I spent like the last couple of years feeling like that. But then honestly, I didn't see, how do I put it? I mean, when you see something and you feel like, oh, I wish I'd done it. I hadn't felt that in a very long time also.
Yeah.
Now I feel content is picking up. Now people are understanding that content is king. So I'm hoping that now people understand that content is king, and getting the right person to play the right role is also equally important. So I am seeing that difference. But having said that, something that really struck a chord with me, I was reading a book one day, and I read this quote. It's a very short and sweet quote, but it said, comparison destroys personality. And it really stayed with me, because I realized I was so unhappy because I constantly was either being compared or I was comparing myself to someone. Na? That's how it works. The second you stop comparing yourself to people, you feel like that personality that was hidden down below somewhere just sparkles, it just comes back. It's just aware of its surroundings. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like myself again. But for a small part there, when I wasn't feeling like myself, I think I kept myself very safe and very sheltered in my own comfort zone. And then when I was ready, I came out with Alia Oberoi.
But in those months that you have had to deal with it all by yourself, and I know because we've had conversations over Instagram, WhatsApp, where I knew that there was something that you were not feeling right, and you are not one of those people who will go tom-tomming when there's nothing to talk about, and I know that very well about you. But I could sense that there was something that was bothering you. How did you deal with those days? Were there any days where it felt particularly very difficult emotionally? Because sometimes you have to gather yourself before even letting it out to the world that, okay, you're going through something.
Honestly, I don't know whether this will backfire or not, but the truth is, every time I read a bad script, a part of me just felt like it was crumbling inside, because I knew that I need to work, right? One needs to work to sustain, and out of sight is out of mind. I was hearing a lot of these things, but I also knew that if I do it, I won't be proud of myself and I won't be happy, and I know I'm not doing it for the right reasons. I actually don't like talking about my work if I'm not feeling proud of it, or I will not do interviews for the heck of it क्योंकि बस limelight में रहना है. मैं वो लड़की ही नहीं हूँ. मुझे अपना काम इतना पसंद है Nan, I love my work so much that that's the only thing I want to talk about. I can keep talking about work. I've over the last 2-3 years, I took to writing. I started writing and just random stuff. But every time I read a bad script, and I knew that there's another, I would still call it an opportunity because it did come to me. Choose not to take it, but every time I have to let go, saying कि नहीं यार, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I came here to do. That was really hard.
But did any of those films work?
No.
So then your choices were right.
I agree, but I think more than anything else, I missed being on a set. That is what kind of got to me. I was still popular. It's not that people weren't approaching me, I won't lie. I was being approached left, right and center. But it wasn't the kind of work I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And eventually there came a point when I think I put so much energy into manifestation that I started attracting the right kind of people.
Yeah.
So while there isn't, I know I'll sound like one of those actors who says, oh, I can't talk about what's next. The truth is, I've become very superstitious and I will not talk about what's next till I'm ready for it. Like, I shot for Rana Naidu a year ago. I never told anyone.
Yeah.
I started shooting a
That's
year
true.
ago.
We met in Feb and you didn't tell me. You just told me there's something, let it come. And
yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
And when I saw the next on Netflix, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is what you were
But I know what I did in Rana Naidu. I know that even the interviews I did before the release, I don't want to talk about it. I want people to talk about me.
But
For
I have
me,
a question there.
yeah.
You know, you said it so wonderfully that for an artist, if you're not getting the opportunities, especially to do what you really love doing, that's something like that can bother you the most, which was bothering you.
Yeah.
At that point today, when I go back to the introduction, there are many people online who are saying that there are people who are almost being rejected by audiences time and again, but they're still getting many, many more opportunities. But there are also people who deserve opportunities who don't even get the opportunity to prove whether they're worth it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
does that bother you? Have you been in such situations?
Yeah, multiple times. But to be honest, Nayan, when this happens to you for a very long time, it becomes second nature to not be affected by it.
But did it affect you when you saw that like maybe undeserving people were getting more work?
I wouldn't say undeserving because
But people who were not interested maybe.
See, again, I'll tell you what, uninterested, undeserving, this is not something I can take a call on. I may not enjoy their performance or I may think very highly of a person, but they're not, doing as much work as they should.
Yeah.
But then I also see people like, say, Abhishek Banerjee, like what he just did with Stolen. I see stuff like that and I think, oh my God, you know what, there's still hope.
But it's very few and far in between.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you have to keep hustling. You can't stop hustling because no one cares what you're thinking in your head or what's going on in your home. You gotta show up, you gotta glam up and show up and do your shit. I mean, it's literally that simple. I don't know what has happened to me. There was a time when I used to complain a lot. I stopped complaining because I'm like, theek hai, this is an issue or this is a hurdle. We'll cross it. करना ही पड़ेगा आपको आगे move on करना because if I'm going to sit and cry only I'm listening to myself and no one else is going to listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to create more and more work for me now. I'm not waiting for work to come to me. I think I've become a person who's trying to create work for herself.
But do you feel as an outsider sometimes you're not even given or allowed to be in certain situations, certain rooms, certain places?
Yeah, I mean not everyone has a key to every room, right? And that's okay. It used to bother me, I won't lie. I mean, no lies there. It really used to bother me. And then I read yet another quote. I'm not gonna try and fit in because I was born to stand out. So every time I feel low about myself, I look at myself and I say, Kriti, don't try to fit in. You were born to stand out. You're a star. And you're gonna make shit happen for yourself. You're gonna make things happen for yourself. Just believe. And that belief has got me where I am right now. If I'm able to do an interview with you right now, it's because I've kept that belief alive.
That's true.
And I know a lot of people would have given up. I know a lot of people who have
given up, yeah.
and I would just tell them that don't, because no one else, you're waiting for the world to come to your rescue, but you're willing to be a damsel in distress and not do anything about it, then no one's going to come to your rescue. But the second they see that you have an armor and a sword and you're willing to put up a fight, everyone loves a great fight.
But everybody who knows that you can put up a great fight, some of them might just be so intimidated that they won't even fight with you. Does that happen sometimes? That
Yeah,
you feel
तो
like,
फिर घर पे बैठो. Because I'm here to fight that battle very happily with a smile on my face, and I'm doing this for me. There's no one else in the world that I'm doing this for. I'm doing it for me. You want to fight the battle? I'm here. You don't want to fight a battle? Sit at home. And if you don't want to fight at all, let's just work together. We'll make something amazing. And I think, yeah, मैं ना बहुत team work वाली बंदी हूँ. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि जब when people सब साथ में आते हैं and they do it. I can't work with people who are not collaborative. So yes, there are some people, you know, I've been in certain rooms and I've thought to myself कि नहीं, इनके साथ नहीं हो पाएगा. I've become very honest about it कि नहीं हो पाएगा. And it's not, they are not the problem. The problem is I am saying I want teamwork. I want to do teamwork. I felt that for the first time when I was shooting Shaadi Mein Zarur Aana. Everyone keeps asking me why that's my favorite film, like my favorite working experience. I worked the hardest. I was paid the lowest on that film. That in my entire career, that's the lowest I've been paid. I didn't even argue about the monies. I told my management, आपको जो पैसा मिल रहा है मिले. This is a film I want to do. Because when I went in for that audition, when I auditioned for Shaadi Mein Zarur Aana, I read one scene only. That scene spoke to me. We didn't even end up shooting the scene the way I did my audition, but Shaadi Mein Zarur Aana was the magic of teamwork. And I think everyone deserves full credit on that because the entire team came together and it did create magic.
exactly. That's why.
That's why it created magic, and I'm waiting to witness those energies again on a set. And I felt like a part of it happened in Rana Naidu. The reason I say part of it is because it's such a big ensemble and I got to work with very few people, right? If I'd gotten
Hopefully
to work
now.
with, hopefully now, but if I'd gotten to work with everyone, maybe I would have felt differently. But when I was sitting there and I've seen the other part of the show, like the characters from the rest of the show come together, I could see why that show has worked. It's because that teamwork is there. It's because
it's collaboration.
It's collaboration. And instead of being threatened by what someone's bringing to the table, they are like really rooting for one another, and I love that. I want to root for people and I want people to root for me.
You know, you so beautifully you've put this, because when I was telling you that I was just coming from the meeting with Matrix, I said the same thing, that some things we will not do for money. I will do it because if my heart aligns with it, I don't care what money I'm getting, I will do it. And you need to have a team who will also back that thought. Similarly, when you say that if I root for people and I want people to root for me, I am that person.
Yeah.
But I'm also the person who is a human being, where I look at people, you know, you will not believe, this is so stupid, I'm gonna say this. If I see a good interview, I have never thought who's doing the interview, is that person a friend, is that person a close friend, not a close friend, acquaintance. I've sent them a message. If there's a close friend, I've called them, told them that I just don't. Sometimes, you know, when you're upset, when you're hurting about something, I've never got any of those calls.
Okay.
And it's not like I'm doing it, I still do it without it. It's not that I need. लेन देन की बात नहीं है, but कभी कभी ये सोच में आता है when you're already upset about something, that have I never done something good for somebody to just think that okay, maybe he also needs this one line of appreciation. I don't know, like a lot of people will take it as like why am I looking for validation? It's not like that. It's just that it's collaborative now.
Yeah.
I am not competitive by nature.
Yeah.
But sometimes I realize that because other people around me are very competitive by nature, I am a misfit in a world like this. And I'm always the one who doesn't get treated fairly. Did you ever feel like that? When you stand up and root for people, unfortunately, this is also business where everybody is vying for the same things, right? Did you ever feel like that?
Honestly, no, I have no expectations.
Never had?
No.
From the beginning? Wow.
I'm my biggest cheerleader. I love me. I love the work I do. I love being on a set. I love presenting myself well. I'm doing this for me. I get enough and more validation from myself. Honestly, if I don't like the way I look or if I'm not happy about my performance, you can call me and tell me all you want, but I will not be happy because that's your opinion of me. And sadly or happily, for me, whose opinion matters the most is myself. I need to be happy in what I'm doing. I don't work for other people, I work for me. I don't dress for other people, I dress for me. So if I choose to come out in pajamas, trust me, I'm doing it for me. If I choose to come dressed up, I'm doing it for me. I don't think I had any expectations from people to begin with. The only people I have expectations from are probably my family. And they've always lived up to it. And when they haven't, we also know that we have that comfort where I can pick up the phone on them and be like, listen, you've been a bitch, you haven't called me. It's been a big day for me and you've not called me maybe. Or if my best friend's forgotten my birthday, मैं तो look forward to करती हूँ कि अगर वो मेरा birthday भूल जाए, because then I have like 6 months of getting Kriti's way.
Absolutely.
So yeah, use it to your advantage. But honestly, like I said, expectations will make you feel like you require validation. Richa actually told me this. No, but Richa told me something very smart. She said the key and the trick is don't have no expectations, have very low expectations, because when you have very low expectations, जब भी वो कुछ गलत करते हैं तुम कहोगे हाँ ये तो मैं expect ही कर रहा था. That really helped. Because when someone screwed up, I'm like हाँ इससे और क्या expect कर सकते हो. And then it stops hurting after a point. And therapy is really helpful.
Did you take?
I always do. I mean, that's something that's a constant in my life. Whether I'm doing well or not doing well is secondary. Therapy is something that is very, very important. Having an outlet, we don't even realize it. Having an outlet is the most important thing in the world.
But tell me something, when you're talking about an outlet, when you are feeling something today, now that you're married, and even when you were dating, you and Pulkit were together, right? How does it become for both of you to become emotional anchors? Because eventually you both are from the same business.
Yeah.
So you understand the highs, you understand the lows really, really well. So do you bounce off what you're going through immediately? Do you mull over it and then do it?
It's not your partner's job to make you feel
That's
better about yourself. It's a lot of pressure. I think both of us have I feel like our relationship started in the middle because it was just easy. It's the easiest relationship I've had in my life. It's just
That's true.
comfortable, touch wood. It's just comfortable. It's just easy. And I mean, I don't even know how to answer this because I listen to him with no judgment. He listens to me with no judgment. And very frankly, if you come home and you witness our conversations, you will not ask me this question because we are very weird like that. I mean,
What are the conversations?
I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I have like the weirdest. So I love cleaning. It's my thing. And I'm also equally messy as a human being. So if you want to know something about me, I create a mess.
And then you
so
clean
that,
it.
No,
so
I
that you
create
can clean it.
I create a mess so that when I'm anxious and I need to clean, I have something to do. I'm that girl. And Pulkit is zero interference. It's just very easy. I feel like I'm just living with my best friend, and that's how it's been. It's just a very easy relationship. And I think that's how relationships should be. The second, he is my emotional anchor and vice versa, but there's no pressure to be each other's emotional anchor, because if that was the case, I don't think any relationship would last. And I think most relationships don't last when you become extremely dependent on your partner to be there for you. It's just, it needs to be easy, it needs to be simple. Get yourself a therapist. It's just, life becomes a lot easier because then you're not putting pressure on anyone else. So make me feel better about myself today. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't had those days where I just tell him, listen, my therapist is not available, can we talk? That's also happened. He also does that. But we don't indulge too much in that.
But I'll tell you something. So the reason I love Pulkit is exactly this. Because he's the definition of a chill guy. Like, he's really chill. Like, I can't say which situation once in my life where I know that possibly you guys are working with somebody who was very mean to me. He has calmed me down.
But he'll do that.
He's just don't care. And initially I was like, oof, it's so annoying. And you know how I am. Like, everything comes with a subtitle on my face.
Yeah.
I'm like, ye to dikh jayega and all that. He's like, don't think about it. Nahi dikhega. And I'm genuinely telling you, this is 10 minutes before the interview that he's looked at. He's like, what has happened? I went and told him, and he's told me this. And I'll tell you something. there was a point. Pulkit, for me, the whole idea initially was Laksh from Kyuki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu
Yes,
Thi, let's
of
be very
course.
honest. Okay. Then it was, when I didn't know him, then it was everything written about him,
Yeah.
which gives you a perception
Yeah.
of him being like possibly not the guy who you would like to be
Yeah.
around. Then suddenly you meet him. I remember meeting him for this interview. It was the first interview that I met him. It was a Bangistan.
Okay.
Him and Ritesh, they have been the funniest. Made me so comfortable. Imagine going in, and I'm saying this, no, मैं बोलूँगा ही क्योंकि imagine me going in with a set perception because of what I've been reading, and then I see this person, I feel like, buddy, but he's a very different person. Like, and genuinely, I want to ask you this today. I know how you guys are because I've seen you guys in places where there have been no cameras, right?
Yeah.
But initially, when you guys met and when you guys were even thinking of starting to date, you also must have come across all these things that were written about him. Did you have a different perception of him?
Honestly,
Changed?
I hadn't read anything. I'll be very honest
Which is
and
great.
frank about it. And I'm not the kind of person who harps on a past. Everyone has a past.
Yeah.
Because I had one. I just was extremely private about it. He knows everything about me. I know everything about him. But I'll tell you what. When we started dating, we went on this long drive. This is when we hadn't told anyone, so it was obviously late at night. And he came to pick me up, no cameras to spot us. We were on this drive and I saw a Lamborghini drive past us. And just like every other couple, you have conversations about your future, right? So I just told him, I'm like, Pulku, if someone gave you $1 billion right now, what's the first thing you would do? And very honestly, I was expecting an extremely materialistic answer. So he's driving, he's looking ahead. I'm talking, I'm also looking ahead. And I'm like, what will you do with $1 billion? He said, सबसे पहले तो मैं गुरुद्वारे खोलूँगा जहाँ पे 24 घंटे का लंगर होगा because I don't like it when people are hungry. I don't think anything else mattered.
Absolutely.
It was the most honest. I love him and I'm so lucky that he's in my life.
Very good guy.
And we call him Annapurna at home.
Annapurna.
Because no one will ever go hungry from Pulkit Samrat's doorstep. And I have many such anecdotes about him. But all I want to say is I think we bring out the best in each other.
That is
And
true.
he's my best friend and I love him. And I'm a very lucky girl.
And I love both of you and I love you immensely. So there is something that I have a surprise for you.
Oh my God, you're such a chupa Rustam. What are you showing me?
वो आपको पता चलेगा. Because I love
I'm trying to
both of
peep
you.
into his phone from here, which
इसमें
is not
peeping
helping.
करके कोई फायदा नहीं है. सुनिए आप सिर्फ.
Hey, beautiful. I just wanted to say you are fantastic in Rana Naidu. Fantastic. Like, genuinely, the strength, the poise, the sternness, and the energy is just amazing. I think if Succession would be made in India, you would be Shiv Roy in that, for sure. Amazing performance here. What confidence. I'm all over in love again with you. Also, I wanted to thank you, baby, for maintaining the girlfriend and boyfriend in us and not letting us become the byproduct of a wedding. Yes, we have decided to spend our lives together, and I think being best friends is the best thing that you have taught me. So thank you for being my best friend, and I love you.
2 महीने से आप मिले नहीं हैं. ये हमको पता चला. तो हमने सोचा कि चलिए एक दूसरे से बात तो करते ही होंगे. But this is special because I think both of you are lucky to have each other.
Yeah.
You know, I know it for a fact that you are the emotional anchor in his life. You know, you are saying about you being private about your past. But I know what Pulkit has gone through, been through, being written about, and he's never changed who he has
Yeah.
been. That is very difficult. And he's such a lovely guy. He did this right away when I told him, thank you, Pulkit. And
साले मेरे मैसेज को रिप्लाई तो कर ले, सुबह से वेट कर रही हूँ मैं.
dosti. This is a reply to
Yeah.
your message only. Technically, it's for you.
Yeah, he finished watching it last night because he's been shooting बेचारा non-stop and he's apologizing to me every day saying कि मैं रोज का एक ही episode देख पा रहा हूँ. I'm sorry, babe, and I'm like, no, it's okay, take your time, it's perfectly alright. He also knows that my it's just, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm finding it a little difficult to gather my thoughts. That was just too sweet.
Okay, there's one more thing.
Oh my God, what are you doing to me? मैं नयन के शो पे नहीं रो सकती यार. ये क्या हो रहा
वैसे
है?
मेरे शो पे ही लोग रोते हैं जो रियल होते हैं, by the way.
I'm trying so hard. I'm not wearing waterproof mascara and I have another interview after
That's
this. You
fine.
bum.
That's fine. This is a fun one.
Okay then. Okay.
Emotional वाला हो गया. अभी
Okay.
देखिए. ये सुनिए आप.
Baby doll. So Nayan has forcefully asked me to say something that annoys me about you. Some habit of yours that really annoys me. And I think the fact that you're always right, that annoys me a lot.
The fact that you're always right.
Yeah, it really irritates him. It really does. And I don't know how I'm always right, but I'm just always right.
When was the last argument that you had where you were right and you proved it?
Oh, so when he says I'm right, it's not an argument. It's never an argument.
Then?
Pulkit and I don't argue.
Oh, no fights.
No, I don't even touch wood. Remember, the last time we fought, in fact, when we started planning our wedding, a lot of people told us that we'd be fighting a lot, but I swear on my marriage, in that entire period that we were planning our wedding, we had one fight which lasted for 20 minutes and we were done. That's it. And that was also not a fight. We're not the kind of people who scream and yell at each other. Gone are those days. I think maybe initially I must have screamed at him or he's never screamed at me. But it's like thoda volume upar ho gaya shayad. We're not the kind of people who fight. What's the point of fighting?
But when was the point that why is he saying that you're always right? That's what I want to know.
Because my instinct is stronger than his instinct.
That
so
I agree.
I have this knack.
In understanding people also, your instinct
You
is
know,
much
right?
stronger.
So
Yes.
he comes to me and he's like, oh, this happened and this person said so and so. And I'm like, and he's like, what do you mean? मैंने कहा यार उनका intent अच्छा नहीं है. मतलब क्या? 2 दिन बाद आके बोलता है तू सही थी. It's more people skills I think that I have. I have an intuition that's very strong, especially when it comes to Pulkit. I'm a little protective also. So people I'm really protective about, I have an instinct of other people, how they are around them, and
Yeah.
I find it very easy to warn other people. I wish I had that same thing for myself. I kind of get blindsided or blinded in judgment when it comes to me, but
But with others, you don't.
yeah, with others I don't.
High five on that, buddy. But what is his most annoying habit according to you?
I don't think he has any annoying habits.
Rubbish. You are staying with him for so long, you really must be finding something that is annoying as a husband.
Oh हाँ, not as a husband. Annoying भी नहीं बोल सकते, but एक वो self love है ना जो उसका अपने लिए. I wish I had that यार. I mean I love myself, but if you really want to know what self love is, you should spend some time with Pulkit Samrat. He will teach you self love. He's actually the reason why I don't feel the need to feel validated, because he's shown me that he requires no validation. And I've found that very inspiring, but initially I used to find that a bit much to deal with. And I'm like, कोई इतना like खुद से content कैसे हो सकता है कोई इतना? But I used to find that very annoying. He's like the kind of guy who said, babe, I had a really good day, मुझे बहुत नजर लगी है, काला टीका लगा दे.
That. But listen, your shadi was such a close, intimate affair.
Yeah.
I remember I had messaged you and Pulkit right after I saw the pictures, and I think, you know, I'm a firm believer in companionship.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, when you don't have, you kind of feel better and great at two people who you know are made for each other coming together. Right.
Yeah.
That is something that you will always feel. I felt so happy. Like in every photo, there was so much of fun. There was so much of happiness. There was so much of joy. Everybody's laughing, everybody's cheering, and you know, the whole things that he wrote for you and everything. You didn't, of course, know that this
No.
was coming. What was your first thought when it happened? What was your first reaction?
It was too much for me to like. It was the most beautiful wedding I've ever attended. I know it sounds weird, but the truth is that's how I feel. It was the happiest 4, 5, 6 days of my life. Like, I don't know how to explain it, man. I really don't have words to explain it. All I can tell you is that we were just Pulkit and Kriti, and I got the wedding of my dreams. I have the marriage of my dreams, and I have the family of my dreams.
Yeah.
And I love that I come back home to him, and he's my family. He's home.
Which was the most beautiful moment from the wedding, if you...
You know, a lot of people don't know this, but very honestly, Pulkit and I had not seen each other's outfits before we got married. We had no idea what the other was wearing. I wanted a very traditional wedding. I was very clear about it कि मुझे नहीं जानना आप क्या पहन रहे हो, आपको नहीं दिखाऊंगी कि मैं क्या पहन रही हूँ, and he was aligned with that. Every time I looked at him, and especially when I saw him as a groom, I think that moment was something else. I think I married him in that moment. During our Varmala is when I feel like we got married. It wasn't the Feras, it wasn't the Sindoor, Mangal Sutra and all of that. It was in that moment of the Varmala that I feel like we got married. So I keep telling him that our wedding was very traditional, but our marriage is extremely contemporary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have the kind of marriage that I think people should have. He's magic.
So are you. I have to tell you this because I know you will not say this about yourself. Pulkit has to really teach you self-love. I am teaching you also. So are you. So are you, madam. You are also magic.
No, I know.
Which is
He'll
why
say
you
that.
bring out the magic in other people. If you weren't magic, then the magic wouldn't come out in the other person. And I mean it. And I mean it. I started off as Pulkit's friend, but you know that I am really like I will hold you, I will protect you with all my heart.
I know you will.
Because that's where we have reached today. But जाते जाते यही पूछूंगा because you've always been a very, very strong believer of female rights.
Yeah.
There's that one question that I'll ask, which we have discussed also. Most of the times, if you see some of the videos that go out in the paparazzi, especially of women, because women are coming out and speaking about it because they should, these back shots and these body shots where people are zooming in on different body parts. What do you have to say to that? Like it becomes insensitive, derogatory, disgusting beyond a point. Unfortunately, it's getting views and people are doing it all the more. What do you have to say about that?
Sadly, you can't control what someone else is doing, right? And you shouldn't even try to control it because I think everyone's here to live their own story and what works for them works for them. I really don't know how to respond to something like this also because it's our reality. I think what I've started doing is I'm very careful about myself as much as possible. I'm not saying that I don't have slip-ups or I've not been objectified. I have been objectified, but I know it's not in my control. वो सामने वाले का नज़रिया है. आप सामने वाले के नज़रियों को नहीं कंट्रोल कर सकते.
That's true.
It's a sad reality. And the truth is, I cannot spend time thinking about something that's not in my control. I don't have the time for it. So I don't think about it.
But did it ever get to you? Like when you see all this, not just about yourself, like about women. Like I've seen Runal has come and said that, you know, every time I walk, they are only doing this. It's so annoying and it's just not me. It's being done to only women.
Yeah.
Like we went on Laughter Chef. Okay, you will not believe. They have got, they're joking. आज आप लोग वॉक कीजिए, दो लड़कों को बुलाया, आज आप लोग वॉक कीजिए, इट वाज अ मीडिया paparazzi राउंड, और हम आपका पीछे से वीडियो लेंगे. It was in joke, but they also said it out of joke that why is it that men don't get covered like that? Why is it only women? That's also something that happens.
That's true. Of course it happens. I mean, I'm not saying that. Okay, if I really have to be blunt about it, I think sadly we as actors cannot draw lines because you're not standing behind that camera, right? But I can also tell you this, that when I have a bad moment or if I feel like I'm not comfortable with something and I tell them very sternly but very politely, they listen. See, Nayan, it's a two-way street, right? You want respect, you give respect. जब मैं उनको respect देती हूँ वो मेरी full respect करते हैं. पर जब मैं उनको respect नहीं देती, वो क्यों respect करेंगे उन boundaries की?
So true.
So just to give you an example, this one time I wasn't very comfortable with getting clicked. The media spotted the paps spotted my car, and मेरे को ये फ़र्क पता है गोरेगांव से बांद्रा में समझ आया. गोरेगांव में when I used to live, I would walk out in my building. It was a gated community. I'd walk out in my building in my shorts and walk my dog, and there's no one walking around there with a camera, so I would just walk the way I wanted to. And sometimes I wasn't very well dressed. I shouldn't be stepping out of the house like that. Let me tell you that. Cut to I moved to Bandra. I'm getting down to walk my dog. मेरे को जो कल्चरल शॉक लगा है बिटवीन गोरेगांव एंड बांद्रा, बिकॉज एज सून एज आई वॉक डाउन आई वॉज नॉट ड्रेस्ड वेरी अप्रोप्रिएटली. आई वॉज वेयरिंग घर के शॉर्ट्स एंड आई वॉज वेयरिंग पुलकित टी शर्ट, बहुत पुरानी. आई वॉज इन माई कम्फर्ट क्लोथिंग एंड द पैप्स वर देयर एंड they saw me एकदम से, and I hadn't noticed them because I stay right on top of anti-gravity. So वहाँ पे खड़े रहते हैं लोग. तो they took a video of me and I ran back home. There's a video of me running. You'll actually find it online where I'm looking really bad. That's the day I realized कि गोरेगांव से बांद्रा में मुझे बहुत चीज़ें समझ आ गई. So now when I step out of my house, I am more mindful. I also know that because I can't control जो सामने हो रहा है, मैं पीछे से control लेकर चलती हूँ.
But it's such a sad state to be in that you are in.
But what can we do?
Yeah, that's what. You can't do anything.
You can't do anything. Don't complain about stuff that you cannot control. किसी और की नीयत को आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. किसी और के बिहेवियर को आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. The only thing that's in your control is you. Now, there are two ways to go about it. Either you control yourself or you learn not to be bothered by what's happening in front of you. I am not advocating for people who are objectifying women incorrectly. Yeah. That's not what I'm talking about.
Absolutely you're not.
But sadly,
you can't control them.
I cannot control them. But what I also realized is when I tell them don't do this, they don't do it.
Yeah, they listen.
But when I tell them please ये मत करो. But if I say क्या कर रहे हो? ये मत करो. Why am I talking to them like they're not human beings? So I feel like.
But they do listen, you know, when you speak to them nicely.
Listen. I was at a salon the other day and I had a bad experience actually. Something went wrong with my brows quite majorly. I went to this place and the paps saw my car. When I was exiting, there were 20 of them standing outside. I was like, what do I do now? I don't want to get clicked. I'm not in a frame of mind also and I don't want to get clicked. I thought to myself for 2 seconds. I called one of them inside and I said, listen, I'm not having a good day. Please photo mat lena. He looked at me and he said, of course ma'am, aap comfortable nahi ho to aaj nahi lenge. They all left. It's not that someone was sneakily taking a video of me. No, none of them did it. So I feel like when you want respect, when you have the power to control a narrative, control it. Control it correctly. Even if they've taken a video of me and I feel like, and at the end of that video I tell them कि यार please ये मत डालना, मुझे आज अच्छा नहीं feel हो रहा, they delete that video. I'm not saying it happens 100% of the times. I know kindness always doesn't attract kindness, but most of the time kindness attracts kindness, respect attracts respect. So you want respect, you give respect.
Yeah.
It's literally as simple as that. And that's the only way I've learned to conduct myself. So I don't have any more advice to give on this, not to myself, not to other people, not to the paps, not to anyone. But yeah, they are also just doing a job and I don't think it's kind of unfair. And I understand where they are also coming from because, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of actors who are bearing the brunt of some people who want to be objectified.
I totally agree.
So
I totally agree and
yeah.
I stand by that.
Yeah.
Because really if you tell the paps and
yeah.
they have that unity which media
yeah.
doesn't. Huh?
Yeah.
But they will, if you tell them, they will not do it.
Yeah,
I know
they
it
don't.
For a.
See, I've never had that experience with the media where something
touch
wood for me. Yeah. I've never had that experience. I've never had to go through a harrowing experience.
There's a goodwill for you in the media. That's
touch
true.
wood. I mean, I feel I've earned it because I've built that relationship with them. But even with the paps, I feel like, come on, यार, मतलब वो अपना काम कर रहे हैं, उनको exclusive photo मिलेगी तो
But what you said is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
For certain people, everybody has to bear the brunt.
But that's the case anywhere and everywhere about everything.
Yeah.
So जहाँ पे अच्छा होगा, वहाँ पे बुरा भी होगा. Just have to make your peace with it and move on.
But I think अब इसके बाद आपके लिए सिर्फ अच्छा ही हो. And to many more शादी में ज़रूर आनाज़, Rana Naidus and Tashes, I feel like This is hopefully the beginning of a very, very nice innings
Yeah.
again, because I don't want you to feel that you, like, I don't want anybody to make you feel that you are possibly not getting the right opportunities, because you deserve all of it. And I'm going to end it with that, because I started with that. Today you've proved yourself with performances like this, and I'm pretty sure that you will keep doing that with everything that you do. So to many more such movies and many more conversations, and I love you.
I love you too.